Computer, play some music by Loudon Wainwright III. Some of you may have heard of what this thing is. It's called an Amazon Echo. This is the Echo Plus, and what it does is whatever I tell it to do. Computer, play music by the Talking Heads.
Shuffling songs by Talking Heads.
Computer, shut up. The thing will even do conversions for you. Computer, how many square miles in 10,000 acres?
10,000 acres is 15.63 square miles.
So it's pretty handy to have, but one of the things is if you have it sitting on a shelf, it can't hear you very well. So what I want to do is I want to build a rack for it, a wall mount, like a sconce. So the way I want to approach this is I'm going to make a couple of rings out of this walnut slab, and then I'm going to make some plywood using this 2x3 as a form. And I'm going to want this plywood about 1/4 of an inch thick. Now here's something that a lot of people don't realize. When you are cutting out a form like this that you're going to use as a clamp press, if you're going to clamp 1/4 inch of material into the curve, you need to cut 1/4 inch of the curve out, because if you don't do that, they won't line up right. So now we'll cut that out on the bandsaw, and then I'm going to stack up a bunch of strips of veneer in there and glue them together. Now I have this stuff here that I scavenged off the back of a shelf, and it looks like oak, so I'm going to go with it. And I'm pretty certain this one strip is going to be more than enough. So the way I'm going to approach this next part is I'm going to use 2 hole saws. One that the Echo will fit inside, this one, and then a larger one. Okay, so the drill press literally wasn't cutting it. So I cut this out on a bandsaw and then sanded off the edge. Now I'm going to come back on the inside with the scroll saw and cut out the middle center part. This piece I don't want to pass all the way through. I want there to be a bottom to it. So what I'm going to do is come in with a router and route that out. Then we'll cut it out on the bandsaw, dress it up on the belt sander. Now since I'm going to need the top of this completely flat to guide the router across it, I'm just going to drill a couple of holes in here and screw this down to the downdraft table with a couple of drywall screws, and that should hold it in place. Okay, so after all that effort, I tried to put the Echo into it and it just didn't line up right. Plus, this does not look good. I don't want that in my house. I'm switching gears. We're going with aluminum. And I will just bolt these to the aluminum, and then I can bend the aluminum to whatever shape I want. While I hate getting sent back to the drawing board, I like to show you guys when it happens. That way you know that this is reality. Anyway, so now instead of that plywood that I made, I'm going to use this piece of aluminum. And all we'll do is we'll measure it and mark a center line. Then we'll center punch a couple of holes and drill and tap threads. So I put a couple of holes in each end, and I also drilled the mounting holes. Now we'll just tap these end holes with threads so we can bolt the walnut onto them. Okay, now here I want these holes countersunk, so I'm just going to come in here by hand with my countersink bit. This is almost done. I got my holes tapped. I put the holes in the wood and countersunk it from the inside so the flathead screws will be flat. But the screws that I got, they're 1/2 inch long stainless steel, are a little bit too long by about 1/4 inch. So I'm going to shorten those. Now a lot of people don't realize this, but these holes here on a crimping tool, those, you'll notice they have the screw sizes on them. And what they are for is for cutting off screws. And there's one for 632, which is what these are. You just screw that in until you see the amount sticking out that you want to cut off. And in my case, that is about 1/4 inch. And you usually have to use a screwdriver to get the screw back out, but when it does, when you do that, it dresses off the threads. And there we are, a nice clean cut screw. Okay, so this thing is almost ready to mount. There's only a couple more things I want to do. I want to apply a finish to the wood, and I want to polish this because I don't want to just put it up there this plain off the rack aluminum color. And then I also have to bend this. Okay, so that's the look I'm going for right there. Now we'll just leave that to dry, and then tomorrow we'll assemble and install it. All right, this thing's ready to go together and mount. Okay, well that turned out just great. Let's go install it. Okay, so this is the general area where I want to put it because there's an outlet straight down below. And these are lath and plaster walls. This house is 70 years old, and finding a stud with a stud finder is impossible on a lath and plaster wall. So there's another way though. You take a neodymium magnet and tape it onto a piece of thread, and we'll just hold it up against the wall here. Okay. There's a nail right there. It's stuck. So there's a nail there. That means there's a stud there. Let's take a look. Let's see what it looks like there. So let's see if it works. Computer, turn the living room light off.
Okay.
Computer, play songs by the Electric Light Orchestra.
Shuffling songs by Electric Light Orchestra.
I'm pretty happy with that. Well, I'm pretty happy with that, and I hope Regina is too, because if she isn't, I'm going to be patching those holes I just made in the wall and finding another place to put that thing. Anyway, that project turned out pretty nice, and I hope you guys liked it. That's all for this week. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click up here to see my last video. Click over here to see something of mine that YouTube thinks you'll like. And have a good one.